everyone, welcome back to my channel, So Little Time, and my name is Karen. I'm here today to go through with you my November plans, so I'll get stuck straight into it. And the first thing I'd like to try making this month is the Colette Patterns ginger skirt. It's just like an A-line skirt with 3 different waistband variations. This one's just a straight waistband. This one is like a scalloped one, you can see that, and then this one's got a little point at the top. So I'm just going to do the straight waistband, and this is showing that it's cut on the bias, but I don't think I'm going to do that, just because I've actually got some fabric that I picked up from my local charity shop. It was actually a skirt, and I've already taken it apart, so I'll show you that. So this is the fabric. It's a black background, so a floral fabric, and it's like got a very slight quilted effect on it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but if you can see it there, a little bit of a quilted. You can see on the back that it's kind of quilted, so it's got quite a bit of texture to it. And it was a skirt originally from Oasis, and it was a size 12, so it was a little bit big for me, but I took it apart, and this did have a pleat in the middle initially, and I've taken that out, so there's quite a bit of fabric to work with. That's the front piece, and then there was a zip in the back, and I've just taken that zip out, and then this was one back section, and then the other back section here. So I hopefully should be able to do that, because I'm pretty sure this has a zip in the back. Does it say? Yeah, 9-inch invisible zipper to be used for it, so hopefully I'll be able to use that fabric. And I also saved the waistband, so I should be able to reuse that as well, so hopefully it should be quite straightforward, so fingers crossed. And I like A-line shapes, as you know, so I'm hoping that will be quite a Christmassy kind of skirt. And then I've got this top that I bought also from a charity shop, and it's just like a velour, kind of stretch velvet kind of material. It was just a vest top, and I bought it in a size 20, and I've just taken the side seams apart, as you can see, and I'm hoping to just try and make some kind of top to go with that skirt. So I'm not really sure what pattern to use. I was thinking of initially the Ogden Cami by True Bias, but I think there might not be quite enough fabric there for the straps. I don't know, and also because this is a stretch fabric, I don't know how that would work, so I'm going to have a think about what pattern I can use, or come up with my own pattern. You know, I was thinking maybe just like an off-the-shoulder type sort of top or something. Yeah, so I'm going to have a think about that, but I do want to make a top to go with that skirt to make it an outfit. So that's my first 2 kind of makes that I'd like to do in November. And then I'd like to make another Tilly and the Buttons Cleo. I am a bit obsessed with this pattern, and I've got this fine hot pink needle cord to use. I've had it for a while. I can't remember where I bought it from now. It's only a metre there. It might have been John Lewis. It might have been from Minerva Crafts. I really don't know. But I'm going to line this version. And whilst I was on the Sew Brum meetup this weekend, I bought some linen fabric in this colour. It doesn't quite go, but hopefully it should contrast quite nicely. I mean, you're not going to see it anyway. And I got that from the Fancy Silk store, and that was only £1.99 a metre. And I only bought a metre, so that was a right bargain. And so that's all ready to go. I just need to cut it out, and I've got all the buckles. I just need to sort out some bias binding again for the inside. And then I'm going to make 2 dresses for my nieces for Christmas, and one's 10 and one's 8. So I'm going to make them the same dress, but it's just in 2 different colourways. And it's actually this pattern here. I've got it in a magazine. It's the Mary pattern by Bobbins and Buttons, and I think Bobbins and Buttons, they're based in Leicester. I don't think they've got an actual shop, but they've got an online shop, and they sell fabric, and they do some little girls' dress patterns and things. I'm not sure if they do boys' patterns. I'll have to double check that. But I think they are going to be venturing out into adult patterns eventually. But yeah, this is the little Pinafore dress that I'm going to make. It's the Mary Pinafore. So it's a bit like the Cleo, just a child's version. And it goes from age 1 to age 12. And I've got the PDF version, and I've not printed it off yet, which is why I'm showing you out of this advert in this magazine, because yeah, I got it as a free download from their website because I subscribe to their newsletter. So I mean, I'm not sure if that offer is still on. If it is, I'll link the details in the description box below so you can take a look, because the paper pattern's actually priced at £14, so it's quite a bargain to get the PDF pattern for free, obviously, and even if you wanted the PDF pattern, I suppose it'd probably be about £7, £7.50 or something like that. Anyway, so the fabric I've got for that is, again, a fine needle cord, and I've got this red burgundy, which I picked up from John Lewis, and I think it was £8 a metre, and it's just like a fine needle cord. Yes, that's all washed and ready to go. And then for the other one, I'm going to do this navy blue needle cord. That's coming up quite black on screen, and that one was actually coming up quite bright, but it is burgundy, that one. Yeah, so I'm going to do those. And I just bought a metre of each. I can't actually remember how much fabric it requires, but I think that should be more than enough. If I can get a Cleo out of a metre for me, then 2 little girls, I'm sure I can work that out. Yeah, and I did see these fabrics in Barry's Fabrics in Birmingham whilst I was on the Sew Brum meetup, and it was slightly cheaper there. I think it was about £6.95 a metre or something like that. Yeah, don't take my word for it, but it was definitely cheaper there. So they have the same if you're in that area. So that's all the plans I've got at the moment for November, alongside my ultimate pyjamas that I do need to finish off. So I've already cut one leg out of that. Oh, and also I do have another couple of Raglan t-shirt sweater tops that I want to do for my twins again, just because I had some leftover fabric. So I've already cut that out, and I'm using some scraps from one of the jumpers that I made previously for myself, which was the Renfrew jumper by Sewaholic, I think it is. Yeah, I'm using the cut-offs for the sleeves and the neckband and the hemband again, because I am going to do the same that I did for what I did previously, put a hemband and sleeve cuffs on as well. So I use those scraps from my jumpers on that. So I'll have the tractor one and the space one, so they'll have another one each, just because they do wear them quite a lot, so it's nice to have another one in rotation. You know, they'll have different colour sleeves slightly anyway. Yeah, so that's what I've got planned for November. Obviously with Christmas coming up, I don't want to set myself too much to do, because I know we're going to start getting busy with sorting out plans for presents and things like that. So yeah, that's all I've got for this. So like I say, I went on the Sew Brum meetup on the weekend, which is organised by Charlotte of an English Girl at Home, I think she is, on Instagram. I'll link all her details below. It's got really popular. I think it's in its 5th year, and there was like 300 people registered to go. So we all met up at the John Lewis Cafe in Birmingham, and then we went off and just went off in little groups around the fabric shop. So we went to the Rag Market, and we went to Barry's Fabrics, Fancy Silk Store, and then we got on the bus and went to Moseley, where Guthrie and Garney is based. And Lauren kindly hosted that with some coffee and cake, and where there was a pattern swap and a fabric swap, also a raffle where there were some amazing prizes, and then obviously also we purchased stock from her shop, fabrics and things, and I think there was a 10% discount off the full price fabrics, and buy one get one free on the bolt ends that they had left, so rolls of fabric that was just leftovers from reels of fabric and things. And it was really good. So it was lovely to meet up with obviously all the other sewers that you get to know on Instagram, so you feel like you already know them, and then you go off and in your groups, and yeah, it was just a really nice, again, self-indulgent day that I don't get very often. So I've been really lucky to have 2 over the last month or so. I went on the Sew Leicester meetup and now the Sew Brum, and I definitely do those again next year if I can. Yeah, so that was a really nice day, and I managed to pick up, obviously like I said, I picked up that line of fabric from Barry's, from Fancy Silk Store, and I also picked up some other bits and bobs, so I'll just grab those things and show you. Okay, so firstly I got from the pattern swap this dress. It's Simplicity K8292. It's quite a fitted dress here, but there is a version to do a more flouncy kind of version here, long one, short one, and then the 2 fitted ones with different sleeve options. But I do quite like this fluted sleeve, and I have seen Judith D of Judith D Creations, I think she is, on Instagram and YouTube. She's made this dress and it looks absolutely beautiful. So that is one that I'd like to make. However, I have made the error again of picking up, I'm sure it's a size US 14 to 22. So I don't know if it is actually going to work out a little bit too big for me. I think I'll be a size 12 in a US. Oh, I don't know. But I'm going to make it up because, to be honest, you could take it in at the side seams quite easily on this dress. So I'm going to do the fitted version, I think, of that as well. So like exactly like the one that she's wearing. But again, I don't know when I'm going to make that. Probably next year. And I picked up the Colette Patterns Peony dress. There's quite a lot on Instagram, if you look on that hashtag, that look absolutely beautiful. I do think Colette Patterns don't do their patterns any justice with these black and white photos. Yeah, and so I'm really looking forward to making that. So that again, that'll probably be next year. And I also picked up the Lottie dress by Sew Over It, and that came with the magazine, and the magazine was included at the pattern swap. So I picked up that because I did really want to make this dress actually for this summer, but I didn't want to buy the magazine because I'm just not interested in buying that magazine, to be honest. Yeah, but I did really like that dress, so I'm going to give that a go. But again, that's very summery, so that will be next year. So thank you ever so much to everybody who put those patterns in. So I did put my other pattern in that was too big for me, and also there was loads of fabrics. This lady turned up and she'd got like one of those granny bags of full of fabrics, and just lobbed it on the table. So there was so much fabric. I'm sure there was loads left over at the end. So I had a rifle through that, and I picked up this fabric, and it's 100% cotton. I'm not sure where it originally came from. I think on the selvage somewhere it says it's a Moda fabric, and it's Weeds by Me and My Sister Designs. Yeah, for Moda. Yeah, it's really nice quality, and there's ever such a lot there. I'm sure there's about 2 meters, so I think I could easily get a nice summer dress out of that. And I really like that colour on me, so yeah, I'm gonna make that into a nice dress. Probably it might end up being the Lulu dress by Tilly and the Buttons from her first book, and I have got plans to make things out of her first book imminently. So and I recently found, when I was sorting out some stuff in my house, an Amazon voucher that we had for Christmas, and there was £30 on this gift card. So I thought, you know what, I am actually going to just go ahead and buy Tilly and the Buttons stretch book. So I have bought it, but I'm not going to make anything out of it until I've made something out of her first book, because I've had it for years, and I do need to get on and make stuff out of that. So that's what I'm going to do. And whilst I was on the Sew Brum meetup, I purchased some African wax print. Wasn't on my radar to buy anything like this. I just saw it in the rag market. They had a whole stall for it, and this particular design really popped out at me. It's quite big, so I'm going to definitely make a full skirted dress out of this. There is, I think it's 6 yards. Yeah, 6 yards for £15 that was, and I thought that was a real bargain. So I'm going to have to go on to Emily's Pins and Wax Prints YouTube channel, because she talks all about how to care for wax print and also how to get these labels off without leaving a sticky residue. So I'm going to have to check that out before I do anything with it, because it's quite a crisp fabric when you buy it, and then as you wash it, it obviously softens up. So I need to do that before I cut into it or anything like that. And I think also there's a risk of the colours, they do run if you wash them with other fabrics and things. So yeah, I just need to check all those details out on her vlog, because she did do a specific vlog on that. So I think I might make out of this the Clement skirt from her first book, and also I think I might try the Sew Over It Betty dress, because I think I might have enough material for it. If not, then I'll probably do probably the Lilu dress out of her first book, Tilly and the Buttons, for that. Yeah, or I might see if I've got another pattern for a full skirted dress, because I just think because it's quite a big print, you can get away with having a full skirted pattern for that. Because if you have anything smaller, then you're going to lose that pattern design on there. So yeah, so that was that. And then whilst I was in Barry's Fabrics, I was actually on the lookout for some boucle, I think it's called boucle, kind of wool jersey fabric to make the Jessie Coatigan by Sew Over It. And I was looking for a mustard one, but I just didn't come across anything like that whilst I was out looking in the shops and things. So I didn't buy anything from Barry's other than this remnant that I picked up. And it's like a sage kind of green. It's coming up quite dark on screen, but it's got a bit of a coating on one side, so it's more slippy on one side, if you can see that sheen. I'm not quite sure what material it is because it was just in the remnant bin, but there's a good amount there I have. So I was thinking of making either the Erin skirt by Sew Over It, or I was thinking maybe even the Morris blazer. I know that says stretch fabrics, or fabrics that have a bit of stretch. I don't know if this has any stretch. No, it doesn't, not at all. And then lining it. So maybe a jacket, yeah, that I could line. So I'll have to have a look. If the Morris blazer isn't appropriate for that type of material, then I'll have to have a look to see what other patterns there are for this type of material. But I think it would work for the Erin skirt as a possibility. So again, I don't know what I'm going to make with that. That is just a remnant that I picked up on a whim. Yeah. And I also picked up the bias binding for my Cleo. Yeah, I think that was all I actually bought. I didn't spend too much. I was looking at some fabric for the Marguerite dress by Sew Over It, but again, that's really a summer pattern, so that was again just something that I thought, oh, I might. Because the thing is, with PDF patterns, I do find that I forget that I have them because they're all stored on my computer, and if I've not printed them off and they're not in front of me, I do forget about them. So like the Sew Over It ebook, the capsule wardrobe, yeah, I need to crack on with making some of the things out of there as well, like the Molly dress and the Molly top and things like that. And I've got loads of other ones as well, so I really need to get some of them printed. So for Christmas, I might actually just get a load printed at the, you know, the printers, get them printed in A0 size, so I've actually got them to trace off. And then I've, off the back of the toaster sweater that I made, I had a friend who was really interested in me making one for her, and she wanted that bubble wrap fabric that I had, but like I say, I couldn't find it. So in the end, I found some quilted jersey fabric on Fabric Godmother. So it's this one. I think you probably may have seen a lot of this on Instagram, and other people have made the toaster sweater out of this. So I showed her it on WhatsApp, and she said, yeah, she was happy with that. And I said, I think it's got not as much structure as my bubble one, but enough structure, I think, to hold the collar, because that's the version she wants. So I'm going to do that for her. I'm just waiting for her measurements, because I think she's slightly smaller than me. But when I put pictures of my Cleo up on Instagram and I showed the bias binding on the facing, she asked me if I could perhaps put something like that around the bottom of the sleeve cuffs and the hem, and also around the top of the collar. And I said to her, well, I've never done anything like that before, where I've used bias binding on a jersey fabric, especially when it's a cotton bias binding. But I don't see why it wouldn't work, because obviously it's cut on the bias, so it has got that little bit of stretch. So I said to her, you know, I don't mind buying some and then trying it out. So I'm going to do that. So I'll see how it goes. If it doesn't work, it's no big loss. You know, obviously she just have the sweater as it is. But yeah, I thought, you know, it's something quite different, and it adds a pop of colour on the charcoal grey. So she either wanted a red or a black and red polka dot or something like that. So I'll have to see if I can get hold of that. I'll probably have a look on eBay. So that's all for today. Thank you again for watching. Please subscribe and like my videos, and I shall see you on another video that I'm planning to bring to you this month, and that is because I really want to show you my handmade wardrobes ready to party dress, and that's the one that I did the pattern test for Crafty So and So in Leicester. Finally the pattern's been released. I think they had a few issues with getting the pattern sorted out. So it was released a bit later than planned, and they released it by PDF this Friday just gone, and today is the 31st of October. So yeah, they've released that, and I've now put pictures of it on my Instagram page, so if you want to go and have a look at it on there, I've put it on there. But I'm going to bring you a vlog specifically for that dress, so I can talk through the makeup of it and things like that, and any issues I had with it, and show you it all in its full glory, basically. Absolutely loved that dress. I've had loads of compliments on that on the Instagram where I've posted the pictures and stuff, and I will look forward to wearing that at a party at some point. If it's this cold weather, then I'll definitely have to think about what I'm going to layer it with. But yeah, it would be great for the summer. I mean, you could shorten the pattern to make it like a more of a summer dress. But yeah, it's a good length for twirling. So I'm looking forward to showing you that. All right, so I shall see you then. Thanks, bye.